Hey, I'm Ashlee Simpson. Some of you guys might know me as Jessica Simpson's little sister.
Ashlee Simpson.
You're a singer. Sing, for God's sake.
If you're putting it out there that this is live music and it's not, then it's dishonest.
You can't line dance your way out of trouble.
I feel so bad my band started playing the wrong song, and I didn't know what to do, so I thought I'd do a hoedown. I'm sorry.
My drummer got really excited and maybe a little bit nervous, and he pressed the wrong button.
Her career never recovered.
The world hated me for this SNL moment I had.
Ashlee Simpson had everything going for her, a brand new album that hit #1 and a lineup of performances to solidify her stardom. But her manipulative father, Joe Simpson, pushed Ashlee harder than he did her sister, Jessica Simpson. And when her body started to fail, she ruined her reputation on the Saturday Night Live stage. After blaming her band and poor health, she never really won over her fans and ended up disappearing. So let's get into it. If you aren't subscribed to the Let's Get Into It podcast, then you're only getting half the tea. For longer videos, deep dives, and of course, more of me, subscribe to the Let's Get Into It podcast listed in the description below. Now, Jessica Simpson has been in the industry for a very long time, and she's been able to remain somewhat relevant. But her sister, Ashlee Simpson, had a very different career. She was at the top of the charts, and then she disappeared. I have to admit, I've been a bigger fan of Ashlee's music than I have been Jessica's. I mean, her song Pieces of Me is something I listen to every single week. So she made some really great music until her SNL gig. Ashlee had a difficult time with her stardom because she was always known as Jessica's little sister, just living in her shadow. As a teenager, Ashlee had to get accustomed to being Jessica's younger, less famous sister. She told Cosmopolitan in 2005 she felt awkward and ugly growing up with a pop star sister. As a teenager, she suffered from endless insecurities and wondered how she could possibly measure up to her sister's success. She says that people compare her and Jessica all the time, all day long, and we don't care. We are so not in comparison. We just love each other. And they were very different vibes. Ashlee was a little bit more the emotional, emo kind of side. I really love that music as a Lana Del Rey boy. But Jessica was more kind of acting and had a more of a pop career. But Ashlee was destined to be famous because she was part of this reality saga that their father had put them through. Ashlee was starring in a show titled Seven Heaven. Joe identified her as an artist and decided to shift gears. He managed to negotiate a reality show with MTV for his younger daughter titled The Ashlee Simpson Show, which aired from 2004 to 2005 and chronicled Ashlee's personal and professional adventures. Well, Joe's efforts paid off because when she released her album Autobiography, it went to #1 and people loved her. She was the cooler, edgier, more talented Simpson singer because people never really felt like Jessica was a big-time vocalist, but Ashlee appeared to be that way. Reality TV was so big back in the day because we didn't have the TikToks to go swiping through, and YouTube was a thing, but we didn't have a bunch of creators. I don't even know, was YouTube a thing? I don't know. But back then, reality TV was it. That's what you're going to be tuning into. That's where if you want to see the drama, you're going to get it. And that was the perfect avenue for America to learn who Ashlee Simpson was.
Hey, I'm Ashlee Simpson, and I'm 19 years old. Some of you guys might know me as Jessica Simpson's little sister. I just moved out of my parents' place and got my very own place. I worked up a sweat from that. I have a great boyfriend. I just signed a record deal with Geffen Records.
This is not the end, not the beginning of the end, but the end of the beginning.
It's a bit scary because I have so much work to do. There's so many other things when it comes to doing your album. There's writing, there's recording, there's marketing, there's styling, there's all these photo shoots.
It's such an exciting time in my life.
So Ashlee and this reality show and her music career all took off, and it was a highlight in her life. I mean, she was finally the main character. Until in 2004, she went on to SNL, Saturday Night Live, to perform her single Pieces of Me. Again, a song I love by her. It should have been a major highlight in her career, but instead it marked the beginning of her downfall. When Ashlee began to perform this song, the backtrack was actually playing a different song, and it exposed her for lip syncing her performance. As her band continued to play in the background, Ashlee awkwardly stood completely frozen. Finally, after breaking out into a bizarre country style dance, the singer, who was only 20 years old at the time, walked off stage, which I think it's so sad. Like SNL, like, I don't know. Lana Del Rey kind of like got screwed over by her. I mean, she didn't do well, but like, you know, it kind of like really hurt her career in the long run, and this kind of ended Ashlee. So SNL is so much pressure for a new artist, especially back, I think at this time it was even more popular. I don't know if people watch it, you know, the same amount of people watch it nowadays, but you know, it's a very popular show. So especially back in 2004, everyone wanted to see like what's Ashlee Simpson going to do, and her getting onto the stage and faking it just lost everyone. Let's go ahead and watch this moment together.
Ashlee Simpson.
Starting off really confident, and then oh. She's like, oh wait, there's like no retakes. This is live. This is probably so awkward for her too. She's just like, what do I do? And there she goes. I think there could be ways where she could have maybe played it off, but I'm not entirely sure what was, you know, the piece in her ear was saying to do, what the track was doing. And I mean, I think immediately as soon as she heard that play out, she realized it was over. Ashlee came under fire for the mess up, especially after denouncing lip syncing. So she's a hypocrite. She said, I'm totally against it and I'm offended by it. I'm going to let my real talent show, not just stand there and dance around. Personally, I'd never lip sync, and it's just not me. Which is kind of funny because she did exactly that. She lip synced and she danced around, and I mean, she didn't even attempt to try to sell it off. SNL producers had no idea what to do, so thankfully they had some pre-recorded sketches they could fill in the gaps where she's supposed to be performing. And I think she could have maybe saved herself. Maybe if she took accountability, if she had a good excuse, but she didn't. She came out at the end, tried to save her career by saying that the band started playing the wrong song. She didn't know what to do, so she did a hoedown. And I think that, like, I mean, after reading on Reddit, people just really don't like that she couldn't say, like, yeah, like, I was nervous to do SNL. You know, I'm a hypocrite and I own it and I'm moving on. She tried to blame the band, who continued to play and played well while she was doing her little country dance.
Ladies and gentlemen, what can I say? Live TV.
Exactly. I feel so bad. My band started playing the wrong song, and I didn't know what to do, so I thought I'd do a hoedown. I'm sorry.
Ashlee Simpson!
Of course, after this incident, the media had a ton of questions for Ashlee. And headlines read that Ashlee Simpson blamed acid reflux and her drummer for the lip sync fiasco. So she tried to do some damage control. She went to MTV's TRL and she said that she has chronic acid reflux and it was acting up and resulted in her losing her voice. Rather than cancel such a high-profile performance, she and her father, her manager, Joe Simpson, decided to have her go on with a backing track. But at the time, she blamed her band for the mishap, specifically her drummer. But this moment was so just chaotic with how she started dancing and with how the aftermath went that it has made like pop culture history. And even cartoons have made like mockeries of what Ashlee Simpson did during her performance.
No, I didn't come back to college just to cheat my way through. I wanted to do it on my own. Will you relax? Plenty of people cheat. Once again, Ashlee Simpson.
So everyone started making their jokes about Ashlee Simpson. She started to acknowledge that she made a complete fool of herself and that she has very severe acid reflux, which honestly, girl, I understand. I totally get it. The best cure I've ever had for acid reflux is to consume some baking soda. A little bit of baking soda with some water, not a lot of water. You drink that and neutralizes the acid in your stomach. Tums and those things don't work for me. If you actually have acid reflux, like it makes sense. Like baking soda neutralizes, you drink it, like you have a big burp and you're good. Sorry, that's my 2 cents, because I used to have really bad acid reflux, so if she had a little baking soda, maybe she wouldn't need the backtrack. She said, I was so upset because I've never done that before, but my voice wasn't strong enough, I couldn't even speak. Lorne Michaels, creator and producer of SNL, was blindsided by the whole thing. He told 60 Minutes he had no idea of the lip sync plan. If he did, he would not have approved it. After all, SNL is filmed live. He actually claims that they didn't do this lip sync thing during rehearsal, so like if he had been a witness, he would have said no show.
It stunned everyone, including the man in charge, Lorne Michaels. Has any performer ever walked off the set like that?
No.
The reason there haven't been more mess-ups like this is because of Lorne's rule. No ad-libs. When she finishes, she rushes out and darts past us in tears, upset about her voice. Tell me what's happening.
Ashlee Simpson is worried about her voice. They're worried about her losing her voice, and so they weren't sure whether she should sing at dress and try and save it for the air show.
Everyone on the show was stunned, including Lorne Michaels, who told us he didn't know she was planning to lip sync. No one ever said the words to you,
no.
Can we lip sync?
Oh, absolutely not.
Has any performer, to your knowledge, ever lip synced on Saturday Night Live?
I think the only time is during dance breaks, where if it was all about dance, and that's a relatively recent phenomenon.
Now, it seems like this plan was very last minute, which is probably why it flopped, because she claims it was that morning that she started to realize her vocals were not sounding that great. Something popped in Ashlee's throat while singing Pieces of Me, and she could barely get through the track. Though someone suggested a cortisone shot in her throat, her team opted for a lip-synced set. Not everyone was comfortable with the Pro Tools technology needed to pull off the illusion. Because she had been singing live, the drummer never triggered both tracks. So the first song he had triggered it was fine, but then he triggered the first song again by accident. For her father's part, her manager and chaotic Joe Simpson, he defended his daughter, telling Ryan Seacrest that she was far from the only artist to rely on backing tracks. Quote, she has a backing track that she pushes so you don't have to hear her croak through every song on national television. Every artist I know in this business has vocal problems at some point, from Celine Dion on. So you've got to do what you've got to do. The show must go on.
Oh, like kind of makes you cringe a little.
You're a singer. Sing, for God's sake.
I think the only thing Simpson did wrong is not being honest. See, if you step up on stage and make it clear that there's a backing track and that you're going to be lip syncing, that's fine. But if you're putting it out there that this is live music and it's not, then it's dishonest.
If your main thing is dancing, then maybe you can lip sync. But if you're a singer with a mic, then you should sing.
You can't line dance your way out of trouble.
Classic apology out of the textbook, is it? The hoedown.
But Simpson didn't apologize. She just blamed it on the band.
I think my drummer got really excited and maybe a little bit nervous, and he pressed the wrong button. Why did she blame her band? It wasn't their fault. That's not fair, and we're not going to like you as much because we all saw it and we know you're lying.
The thing is, people have been lip syncing for years on television shows. She just happened to be the one that got caught, and her career never recovered.
Now, Ashlee and her father Joe weren't giving up on her music career just yet. She decided to perform at the Orange Bowl 10 weeks later. Now, I don't know what the Orange Bowl is, but it was her attempt to respond to her critics and prove that she could in fact sing without studio help. And it backfired horribly. And while it does appear that she was singing live, it didn't sound necessarily like the tracks. And I honestly, I totally can respect that. Like, I feel like there are some people who can be singers, but they aren't like vocalists. Like, they can go into a studio, and if they have the temperatures right, the humidity is right, you know, they got the right light colors on, they had their tea in the morning, and they get that one take out of 300, and it sounds good. She could be one of those artists. Like, for instance, Selena Gomez, I don't think she can sing like Adele can, but she can still sing a song. But those type of, like, you know, belting out type of vocalists, they're not made for these kind of performances like this.
Kelly Clarkson, Trace Adkins, Ashlee Simpson, part of our halftime show.
Wait, was that booing? That sounded like a big boo all across the stadium. I really feel like I heard booing in that. Now, because singing wasn't necessarily working out, Ashlee decided to get into acting again, and she starred in a 2005 film called Undiscovered, which did not do well. It was a total flop, this report writes. It garnered an 8% rating score on Rotten Tomatoes and a cumulative 29 out of 100 on Metascore, so it did not do well. And actually, for 12 years, it was holding a record for the biggest second weekend drop off in ticket sales. So it like truly was a financial flop and a career disaster for Ashlee. For Ashlee's role, she received a nomination for the worst supporting actress at the 2005 Golden Raspberry Awards, which Golden Raspberry Awards, that sounds pretty stupid. I mean, I would, okay, sure. Like, I don't think I'd want one of those. Now, eventually she starred in a show titled Melrose Place, but she was written off of that series in 2009. I mean, the CW, I don't think they necessarily make the most amazing content, but even they said she was bad. According to a source, they said they hired her because they needed a good name to create buzz, but she was embarrassingly bad. Producers cut her down as much as possible. Jessica Simpson was upset with how her sister was being treated. She actually tweeted saying that the CW was putting together these bad scripts. She said, "I've had bad scripts to work with, but this, thank God my sister is amazing and got you some press." So she was defending her all the way. Ashlee released this statement saying, "Having the chance to play Violet on Melrose Place has been a thrill, although I always knew her story would come to a final. Insanely unpredictable end. Playing a creepy, unstable character was something I always wanted to do, so I jumped at the chance." So she was being nice about her departure, but they really needed to like get rid of her because she was not performing how they wanted her to.
I am Ashlee Simpson Wentz, and I play Violet Foster. Is everything all right? I said something stupid, didn't I? Violet doesn't fit in with the rest of the tenants yet, but she's, working her way through it. Here I am, trying to give you some stupid advice. It's fine. She has a bit of an obsession problem. Violet tends to really like people.
To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Ashlee was defeated at this point after everything she had gone through. And then she kind of disappears for a while until we see her on Ashlee and Evan's debut show, which was on E! She actually talked about the SNL incident, saying that was a very long time ago, and it's something that made her stronger and made her a better performer now. Also, while appearing on Bravo's Watch What Happens Live, she says that she takes ownership of how things played out. Quote, "It was me completely. What happened there, I had a vocal problem. I had two nodes beating against each other and I woke up and I had no voice. Then I should have said, no, I will not go on. I will not do this."
I had finished my album and it was out and Pieces of Me was #1 and it happened and it was like boom, and the world hated me for this SNL moment I had. For me, it was the most humbling experience of my life. Everything that you just put your heart and soul into writing is a joke, and that sucked.
Nowadays, Ashlee says that she would like people to stop obsessing over the imagined demise of her career. Oh, I'm sorry, Ashlee. The 37-year-old is a mother of 3. She has a wonderful marriage to Evan Ross, actor and son of the legendary singer Diana Ross. Wow. She claims that she doesn't stay awake at night thinking about what happened when she was 19. She was an angsty girl. She was in a high-pressure situation, and she did what she did, but she's over it.
What's the worst piece of advice you ever got?
I know mine. What's yours? To go on SNL when I said no.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
There you go.
You didn't go on, or you...
They made me go, I wish I would have known. Oh, I can say no. I had lost my voice, so. Yeah.
Now, as I mentioned, she did try to come back to reality TV with her show, Ashlee and Evan, about her relationship with Evan Ross. Unfortunately, their show only lasted 6 episodes. They had a personal choice to end it because they had been pretty private up until this point. They also claimed they didn't feel comfortable having their kids on TV, which honestly, if that is the real reason, then kudos to you, because that is very selfless if you want to protect your children in that way. So many influencers and celebrities don't. Now, the rumors claim the show ended because they got into a huge fight because Evan felt like the show was making them look like failures. And even though they decided to step away from their own show, they have made some appearances. Like in 2020, they were on an episode of The Bachelor, Listen to Your Heart. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about plastic surgery because people were very shameful in the early 2000s when it came to plastic surgery, and Ashlee definitely felt that. Some people even say that plastic surgery damaged her career. Ashlee was known for having a bump on her nose, on the ridge of her nose. and some fans were upset when she changed her appearance. In 2006, Ashlee appeared to cover Marie Claire magazine. In her feature, she preached about loving herself despite knowing she's not perfect. She said, "I want girls to look in the mirror and to feel confident." But after the magazine came out, Ashlee sported a new nose, and fans were upset that her comments weren't authentic. Some people even said this article was a joke, right? Like, you can't be serious. Actually, the people who wrote this article said that we were dazed and confused and disappointed by her choice too. All disappointed in her nose job. I mean, that's her own choice. She was initially hesitant to confirm the news and skirted around any questions regarding her changed appearance. She claimed she didn't do it to appease anyone but herself. Quote, "I don't get bothered by people saying what they want to say. I'm a happy person. I'm happy with my looks. I love how I looked, and I'm not an insecure person, nor was I before." She acknowledges going under the knife is a personal choice. "I believe if someone chooses to do plastic surgery, it should be for yourself and not for anyone else," which I totally agree. I got my nose done 10 years ago, and it was the best thing I ever did for myself. She said, "Everyone has an opinion. 1 minute they'll love you, 1 minute they'll hate you. When you go home to sleep at night, the important thing is to feel good about yourself, and I do."
She had a bump on her nose. The tip of the nose was hanging down, and it basically was just a little large for her petite and beautiful face.
I didn't think it was like a bad nose, but it was definitely a nose.
Her bulb was a little prominent, and she had a little bump on the top of her nose.
In 2005, Ashlee told Allure magazine she once contemplated a nose job, but was glad she didn't.
There's some people who feel that a bigger nose is perfectly fine because it's a family trait. Other people find it embarrassing.
The following year, Simpson appeared on the July cover of Marie Claire, once again singing the praises of loving oneself as is. But fans were soon surprised to discover that Ashlee had done an about-face.
Now, back then, plastic surgery was such a hot topic. I mean, I like how that one guy said, well, it was a nose. It was definitely a nose. Yeah, it was a nose. I mean, let people do what they want to do. But I want to hear what you guys think of this story in the comments below. It definitely was like an up and down, even though Ashlee would like to think it's been a smooth ride. Like, I mean, her first album, it did numbers, and it could have gone way differently if SNL did not play out the way it did. But I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you in a new video soon. Bye, guys.